why it is important. Okay, so before going to talk about generators, we need to understand the comprehensions. There is a list comprehension, tuple comprehension, dictionary comprehensions. So what is the use of comprehensions? Okay, then after that, why generators came from that? Okay, so the strings are iterators, right? Okay, we can call string are iterators, list is iterator, and tuple is iterator. These are all iterators, right? So it will consume the memory when you read it, right? Each and every item in uh, the given object, right? So let's go and do some programming here. We can understand much better on to the code. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, okay, now comprehensions. Okay, let me go and create a folder here. The folder name is generators. Basically, this is the introduction to the generators. So in the generators, we are going to talk about first comprehensions. Then after that, we'll see why comprehensions is very important to talk about generators. Right? That's something which we are going to see it. Comprehensions dot py, and here we have list comprehensions and many more things, right? So let's talk about one by one. But first of all, what is comprehension? Why it is important in Python, right? So these comprehensions, I can use it for list and also for the tuple and also for dictionary. So I can use it for the list, tuple, and dictionary. Let's talk about first one is the list comprehension. So what is the list comprehension? How we can use it in the programming, right? So let me go and use it now. So list comprehension, okay. Suppose if you want to separate the letters from the given word and add that letters to the items, so how we can do it normally. For example, I will take here the game. Game is equal to baseball. Okay. I want to print each and every letter, right? I want to print each and every letter, okay, into the separate list. Is it possible, guys? I have here string. I want to print each and every letter into the separate list, right? So separate item in the list. Okay. This is a string which we have it. So what generally you do, right? You take separate list, empty list, okay, or like we can say that new underscore list. You take the list and you just declare with an empty. Don't do it anything. Then you can take for loop, and each character here we can say that each char in and that is there in the game, right? So you can mention like this. So for each char in game, and you can go and append this. Okay, for example, new list here. This new list dot, and there is an append function. So you can take and pass the each character. So basically, what is the requirement? You have the string here, but what is the requirement? You have to take each and every element and display into the character wise. So what we can do now, I'm going to finally print this. So print of new list. This is one way I'm doing it, right? If I go and execute this code, you see that each and every character is actually stored as an item. Okay, but what if I'm going to use another way like list function? List is also function. So if you want to convert this string into the list, we can use the list function. This is another way. Print of list of game. I'm going to execute this code. You can see that this is also giving the same output, right? So one is with the list of game. The another one is the directly for loop, and you can take the another list. So this is the multiple ways we can do the same programming. But why list comprehension comes into the picture? Let me talk about this. So we can also do the same thing with iterating through a string using the list comprehension. So list comprehension, right? Instead of taking the new character, new list here, we can go with the list comprehension as well. List comprehension is always with the square bracket. So in the square bracket, we can start something like, okay, you take same thing, the same code I'm turning into the list comprehension. Take each character, okay, and for loop, and again each char in, and what is that name here? It's the game, right? Same code, but I'm just enclosed into the a square bracket. This is called list. In the list only, we are actually turning into this way, right? So what I'm doing it here, each char for each underscore char in the game. So what we can do, right? This is the separate list. right? This is a new list. I can say that. Same thing we are repeatedly doing it here. If I go and print off new list, so what would be the code? What would be the result here? So I am seeing the same result, right? So in Python is a beautiful language, guys. Okay, it's a really beautiful language. You see that there is multiple ways we are doing it. So first way is iteration process. So here new list we are taking up here, new list declaration and iteration we are doing it. And the second way is just conversion. This is nothing but data type conversion. So we are converting to the from the string to the list. So both are iteration data, right? So that's why we are able to convert it. This one is a list comprehension, right? So multiple ways we can do the code, but there are other ways also we can do it. So I'm just mentioning here like a few things. So list comprehension, but this is not, this is just beginning only for the list comprehension. So the Python has an easier way to solve this issue, right? Using the list comprehension. List comprehension is an elegant way to define and create list based on the existing list. So okay, that's how we can use. But what is the syntax of this list comprehension is, okay, but I will give you the simple syntax right now. Later I will like make it a very complicated syntax as well. So first is always here is the expression, and for and item, whatever the item which you are taking up, and the list which you have it. As simple as this is a syntax. Expression means what? Okay, Raja, this problem is okay. It's, I don't think it is a big. Why I need to take each and every character? For example, I want to convert this, each character is in the lower case. I want to convert into the uppercase. Right now you are seeing output is in the lower case, but I want to show into the uppercase. So how you do it? So each char dot and there is an upper function. So we can use this. If I go and execute this code, you can see that each character which is showing in the uppercase. Same way, for example, is it possible with the list function here? Is it possible with the list function? If I go and use this upper and I'm going to execute this code, and you see that this is also possible. So what about this? Okay, what about list comprehension? Here also you can put the upper function. Okay, so I'm going to execute this code. You see that all successfully it is working. So this is nothing but an expression. Okay, so list comprehension is a shorthand code. If you want to define something like adding the numbers, finding the even numbers, odd numbers, something like that, shorthand code if you want to write in the Python. So we can go for the list comprehension. It will create a new list. You have the list, but on top of it you're doing some expressions are nothing but changing the values, changing the okay, giving, providing some expressions, and it is working. So we can use the map, reduce, filter functions from the Python, right? So it will useful a lot. So this is a list comprehension, simple example I said, but let's go and debug more into the in-depth how it's going to be work, right? For example, I'm going to use with the map function. Okay, so how we can use the map function? Same thing, I want to use map functions. Is it possible? Let me go and try this. So right now I'm using the map function. So let me try with this map function, and we can use this map function always takes the two parameters. First parameter is some function. Okay, I'm just writing here syntax first. Function comma some iterable variable. This is the syntax of map. It is the same is applicable for the list map, reduce, filter also. Okay, so I'm talking about map. So now what we can do in this case, okay, we'll take this map function. The first parameter is always like a function. So here in this case, what I'm going to do, right, I will take the lambda. So lambda space, and you can take x colon x, and comma, you can pass the string. So what is the string here? For example, is the baseball. Okay, it's a game. So instead of single quotes or like double quotes, I will pass the next one is iterable variable. Iterable variable is anyway, it is a string. Lambda x colon x game. This is what I am passing it now. So now if I want to print this data, I will say that data, if you print this data, it won't give the result in the form of any data type because it is like a map object. If you want to convert this map object into the list tuple set, but you have to use the conversion like this, list of this entire data. Now it is going to be converted into the list. You can see the data which is there. Okay, data which is there, but still you have a question. Okay, how to convert these letters into the uppercase letters? Can anybody tell me how we can create these letters into the uppercase letters in this programming? Any idea? How to convert this data into the uppercase letters with this function 2425? We have this. How to convert them?
Lambda x dot upper.
Lambda dot x. Okay, so I'm going to use this one is x dot upper. Now it is not going to help because here always variable. Here is the expression, right? So I'm going to give the expression here. Now I'm going to execute the code. You can see this is working. So always map function, okay, will accept some function name, and after that something like that we can take. And here x colon, because x, this x is the declaration, x dot upper is the expression. So in Lambda is always like this, arguments and expressions, something like that will be there. Now we are able to print it, right? Okay, coming to the point now, where is the list comprehension here? Do you see any list comprehension in this case? Do you see any list comprehension in this case? No. Okay, but I am just telling you this, how many ways we can do the same code. Okay, either you can go with the list iteration process, string and direct conversion type, or we can use the list comprehension, or we can use the map function. See, there is multiple ways we can do the same programming. It's all about your skills, but nothing is wrong here. But there is some issues are there if you use the first approach, because you are, there will be eating the memory. You are having already, there is a string here. Again, you are trying to create a list. Again, this is an empty list you are creating and all. So there is a memory things will come into the picture that I will talk later of the time complexity and everything. Okay, but other than that, this code is working as expected, right? You are able to achieve it, right? So moving to the next one is the conditional list comprehension. What is the conditional list comprehension? So conditional list comprehension. So what is this? This is something like I have some data I want to print. Okay, for example, you have some numbers 1 to 20. Out of 1 to 20, I want to print even numbers. Is it possible? I want to print numbers from the there is a numbers from 1 to 20. I want to print even numbers. It's very simple, right? So we can go to this list comprehension, always open this square bracket, and after that we can start with the NUM. And for NUM in, you can take sample range like, okay, like 20 or 1 comma 20 or 20, like you can take normal 20 is also fine. So you can go to this, and if I go and use some conditional based here, this NEM must be a percentile by 2 is equal to, and we can mention the 0. So this is something like printing the even numbers. I want to print even numbers with the list comprehension. So what is the difference between the previous syntax and this syntax? See, previously syntax is like a for, and there is a variable in the game, like you can see that. But right now what we are doing it here, we are converting that one into the upper. So previously expression we have written here, but here this is the condition. Remember guys, syntax I am going to write here list comprehension. First one is always expression, then next one is the for loop, then next one is the iterable variable. Okay, so syntax is like this. You can also write iterable variable, and the next one is in iterable in some iteration data, or we can say sequence data. In other words, we can say sequence data, and after that there is a condition here, as simple as. Okay, this is a syntax. Expression can be anything. Okay, these numbers, if you want to again do multiply with something called 4 also we can do. Expression is different from the condition. Condition is nothing but here is the filter from the given data. So what we can do, right, this data which is there, like okay, so we can use this one is even data, even LC. LC means list comprehension. I want to print this even LC. So what would be the results if I go and print this code? And you can see that's all even numbers are printing. But if you want to multiply them with the something like 10, you can use this code and this works, right? So the expression goes here, and this data will go in this case here, num percentile 2 is equal to 20, something like this. This is called list comprehension. So with the condition. This is called list comprehension with the conditions. Do you have any questions here? Okay, so Raja, can you go a little more deeper and try to make it little complicated? So let me do a little complicated now. Okay, so there will be a question comes maybe when you are attending some not interview questions, when you are trying to attempt these some challenging questions. Okay, then how we can there is an approach we can do it here. When you are attending some, there is some like what I can say. Uh, some competitive exams. Okay, that time you see some questions like this. Okay, so what are the things you can see? I want even numbers, I want odd numbers. How it can be print? See, I want to use the a comprehension list to print both even numbers and odd numbers. That is one thing. Or else we can say like this. Can I use the nested if conditions in the comprehensions? Let me go on here. Nested if conditions inside LC. LC stands for list comprehension shortcut. Okay, so it is my shortcut, guys. Okay, so now what we are going to do, right? I will take some numbers here for I in range of, for example, 100. These are the numbers which I am taking up. For example, I want these numbers I percentile divided by, okay, 2. Okay, divided by 2 is equal to 0. This is one condition. If I percentile, okay, divided by 5 is equal to 0, it's another condition. If I percentile, okay, and 4 divided by, okay, I percentile, okay, this is correct one. I percentile 4 is equal to 0. Like that, you can make n number of conditions here. So my point is very clear here. You can make n number of conditions to make it flow, right? So this is called nested if conditions inside the LC. So what we can do, right, guys, I'm going to take it into the separate list, say that this is a new data or like divisible by many conditions. But here I'm not mention the, see, what is the syntax here? First one is the expression always. But I have done with other rest of the things. Here there is, this is whole thing is the conditional. This is a conditional based LC. This is iteration data. What is missing here? Expression. Can I write hi here? Now it is done. Syntax is correct. I want to print this data. Okay. Now we can see this new underscore data, and you can just print this. This will execute the whole information. Now 0, 20, 40, 60, 80. This data definitely will be divided by 2 and divided by 5 and also divided by 4. Am I correct? Otherwise, you have to do a lot of if conditions, many things you need to do. Python is make you it solve your problems in very easiest way. So it is divisible by 2 and also it is divisible by 5. Normally, if without list comprehension, how you do? You write and conditions, right? There is a if it's all and conditions, then only you write it. So this is really amazing the way you can solve it. So previous examples are little like basics, but this is how we can use it when you are writing the programming. Any questions here? Okay, so this is how we can define it, but there is a lot of things we can do it, guys. Okay, we can use the for loops also in the list comprehension. Many for loops also we can use it, but that is a little complicated. We can see it later. Okay, so what I mean to say that, okay, Raja, you are taking here two conditions. Can I take the two for loops? Let's go now. Okay, we'll try now. This is now nested for loops, we can say that. Nested for loops, or we can say multiple for loops, we can give any name. So inside LC here is the list comprehension. So previously two if conditions. This time I am trying for the two for loops. Is it possible, guys? Let's go and try. Let's go and try. So I'm going to try into different way now. Okay, take the list comprehension, that is a square bracket, and use the if condition. And what we can do now? What can anybody tell me one example here? I want to make two if loops. Okay, for I in okay range of here 10, as simple as. Can I do like this? Can I do like this? Again for loop j in, and this is the range of 20. two for loops which I am taking up. So list comprehension is here I, which I am mentioning here. If I go and execute this code, what will happen? Anybody guess? If there is no condition here, okay, let me take this one. It is like a nested underscore loop. So I'm just going to print this data, the print of nested loop. So now tell me what would be the answer here if I go and execute this. We got so much of information here, right? 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3 like this, which is coming up. Okay, I don't want to go for the big number. I'll go for small number 4, and this is also 4 to better understanding. Okay, to better understanding, I'm reducing the numbers to the lower value, so then we can see the data here. Okay, it's taking time in my system. Okay, right now it is printing the, so 0 is 4 times, and 1 is again 4 times, 2 is 4 times, 3 is 4 times. What is logic is going on here? When I do the list, I'm able to get the list here. I'm able to get the list. Okay, I'm able to get the list, but something like this is I'm not understanding. So can anybody tell me what is going on here? Okay, what is going on here? Okay, so here what is happening, right? Two for loops, the same code. If we go and write like this, for I, okay, in a range of 4 and colon, and again here you are writing for j in a range of 4, something like this. Okay, this is the nested for loop. When you go to write the code same way, but thing is that you are not printing the z here, you are printing the only I. If you want to print the z, for example, if you give the just comma z, generally it works, but it will throw an error at this point because it is a syntax error. When you want to print two variables in the expression, you always provide them into the tuple. You always provide into the tuple, or like list also it works. Okay, so you have to view the, that is iteration data. If I go and execute this, this is working fine. So it is the for loop is the, see, it is a nested for loop, guys, as simple as this is the first for loop, then I is reading, then again j first, then this j is finishing off 0 0 0 1 0 2 0 3, and then done again 1 1 0 1 1 1 2 1 3, done 2 0 2 1 2 3. If we want to read such kind of things in your project, we can use it. See, it's a very simple code. Okay, it looks like you are thinking big way. So instead of writing 3 4 lines of for loops, I can use the list comprehensions, two for loops. This works. Any questions here? Is it understandable?
Yeah, it is really good. And this one I did not know before.
Yeah, so this is where like you can handle the many for loops. Now you may think like, can I add one more for loop? Yes, you can add it. Nobody can restrict you. You can add multiple for loops. This works. Okay, so what we can do, guys, in this case, for example, I comma j is there. But if you think, okay, Raja, can you please do some expression here? Okay, can I add some expression for I percentile 2 is equal to and 0? I'm adding some expression. Is it works? Is it works? Now I'm going to add some expression here. Let me go and do it. This is working. This is working. Where it is working, Raja? It is working. How it is working? So 0 to 4, what are the even numbers which we can take? So can I take the okay, so 0 is 1 and 2 is there. Am I correct? Am I correct? Or else if,
yeah, 0 isn't even, right?
it isn't even, but why 0 is taken up here? See here, the logic is very simple, guys. For I comma j, for I in range of 4, and if I percentile 2 is equal to 0. So first 0 will come, 0 percentile 2 is equal to 0 is wrong, 1 percentile 2 is wrong, 2 percentile 2, is it true? 2 is even number, as simple as 4 is an even number in normal language, I can say. So 2 comma 4 can be taken, right? So for loop 2 comma 4 is can be taken. So this is a if condition. Here j is there. Okay, for j in the range of all the values. So what is happening in this case? Anybody tell me?
It is only reading till 3, right? Because 4 is not included.
Exactly, that's right point. Because range, it is a stop index, sorry, stop value. It is not index, it is a value. Stop value is there. The 4 which is not accepting in this case, right? This is fine. So what else is happening? Yeah.
first it is checking the I is even or odd, and then it is it combined with J.
Right.
Without we have not given any condition to J.
Yeah, we are not given to any condition to the J. Can I give the condition here for J?
Yes.
And again, percentile 2 is equal to and 0. So my point is very clear. You can make multiple conditions. You can see that 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2. See, the conditions we can write, multiple conditions we can write, we can define it. So for loop and condition, for loop and condition, for loop and condition. But this is a little tedious process, means a lot of memory consumption, and at the same time, this is called as little lazy. Iterators are basically lazy, because it will time consuming, but it obviously we need sometimes when you're dealing with the multiple iteration data, right? When you have conditions. So it is very, see, traditionally in C language and all, we use the different, C++, Java I'm talking about, we use generally for loops, multiple for loops, right? So even C also we use multiple for loops, leads you so much a complicated code. But if you use like list comprehension, this code is very simple doing it for you, right? The something which is really advantage. Always try to use list comprehensions in your project, okay? And map, reduce, filter functions. Map, reduce, filter, list comprehensions. Can you show me one real-time project without list comprehensions? Map, reduce, filter. Can you show me one project? I'm talking about Python-based projects. Show me one project without list comprehensions and map, reduce, filter. It's not possible. I mean, it's not possible. It's possible, but that is not. You have to write this way. This is a very efficient way of writing the code. Okay, fine. So moving to the next topic is, okay, did you understand, right? So yeah, many things we have done with the code. Iteration, and we are converted into the list comprehension, and we have tried with the condition list comprehension, nested if conditions inside the LC, and nested for the loops inside the LC. Now moving to the most important topic is called the tuple comprehension. This is where you have to open up your eyes and look at the what is happening with the Python. Okay, so I'm going to talk about list tuple comprehension. This is where magic is going to happen. Okay, what magic is, let me show you that. Very simple. Same that list comprehension, I'm going to open same way. I for I in a range of, can I write like this, range of, and this is the 10, and if I percentile 2 is equal to 0, I can mention it here. Instead of the list, I'm giving here is the tuple. First of all, the syntax is correct or not, I'm going to validate it here. Okay, this is nothing but tuple C. Okay, tuple comprehension. Now I want to print this print of tuple C, and we'll see what is happening in this case. Okay, so I want to print this tuple C. Just go and execute this code. You will see that there is a generator. Cool. Did you know about this?
No, no.
No.
This is the in-depth concept. List comprehensions are the iteration purpose we can use. List comprehensions are the iterators. Tuple comprehensions are generators. Okay, so tuple comprehensions are the generators. This is something you should know. Okay, so these generators we call it as lazy iterators. Okay, maybe people call it as lazy iterators or iterators, whatever the term which you can use. So we can see here it is called as the lazy iterators. Another term is called the generators. Another term is called the tuple comprehension. Okay, is that the only way we can create generators? No, there is a multiple ways we can create it. This is one of the hidden concept which I'm explaining. There is another way is there. That way is yield keyword. This might be knowing it. There is a yield keyword. If you want to use the yield keyword, okay, if you want to use the yield keyword, you can use the yield. You go to the any function. Okay, let me go to the some function. Say that get name. This is a simple function. I'm just using the name here. Say that, okay, some blah blah code. You can write print of name, and after that you can go and put this something called yield here. Okay, yield keyword. Now, what I'm going to do, right? I want to call this print of get name and pass something called here like Python. Some name I am passing it here. Okay. Now, if I'm going to execute this, this is also generator. My God, is it? Yes. You can remove this yield. Go and execute this code. This is not a generator. When I go and put the yield, then this is a generator. Any function if we use, if we keep yield keyword inside the function, that function is going to be treated as the generator. I'll come to the point what exactly the generator, but the point I'm going to tell you in the Python, how many ways we can create a generator. Tuple comprehension
Hello, did anyone hear this voice?
No, I guess first it was, I guess, in my side. So I checked, but it's not.
Oh, I think they have power cut.
Yeah, maybe. So I joined a little late. I joined it around 2:20. What did I miss? Could you just give me a brief?
No, that's. I mean, and initially he told that how many ways we can create a list using a list comprehension and direct list of method or for loop method for
Okay,
creating.
so the record comprehension and dictionary is left, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm back, guys. So
Yeah.
what I'm talking about here, yield keyword. Yield keyword is actually like we can use it within the function. So within the function, when I use this yield keyword, this function is treated as the generator. Okay. So can I use this yield keyword after the return statement? No, you should not use this yield keyword after the return statement. It should not be allowed to do it. Okay. Of course, after return statement, you should not write anything. Of course, that is the end of the function. Okay, so go on, we'll try to explore each and every concept. Okay, so let's focus on the first. Okay, let's go and focus on the first. Okay, I have here tuple c. There is a I for I. See, same thing. If I go and change this parenthesis to the square bracket, this is a list comprehension. Am I correct or not? If I go and print this, you can see this. This is the list comprehension. As much as we can see it very easily, this code we can play with the Python because it is the most the way it is very easy actually, right? So what we can do, right, guys, it's very simple to do it. So we have now, okay, so print get, okay, here tuple c is there. I want to print the value when I use the tuple comprehension. I'm going back to here, just going back here, and now I'm going to print this. See that generator is there. Now what next? So if I want to print each and every item from this tuple comprehension, I have to use function name is called the next. Okay, I will explain you the differences between the list and generator. Slowly I will come to you. Slowly will come to you. I will explain to you. You will get in-depth concept also. Okay, you'll get the very in-depth concept of the this. Okay. So next is the is a function to retrieve the each and every element from the given generator. How it generates? It is a lazy iterator. It generates the data. For example, okay, I'm going to use the next and pass the generator here. Next allow you to pass the generator. Okay, so I want to print this data. Can I print it? Can I print this data? Go and print it. If I go and execute this, okay, 0 is printed. Of course, right? In the range, first one is the 0. Again, I want one more value. Okay. As I said, it is a lazy iterator. Okay, lazy iterator means obviously it won't give like what you think about. In the list it will get immediately, right? But here it is not the case. It is a lazy iterator. It will again go and execute the code. Again it will print the 1. I don't know why my system is slow. You're able to see it, right? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, thank you. So you can see that 0, 2 is printed because I have condition here, percentile 2. That's why. Otherwise it is given the 1. Again, I am printing the 2. Okay, again, I am executing the code. So is it going to print the same output only, right? Because you have to write multiple next functions here. Multiple times you need to call. Okay, in the real time, you have to use the for loop again, we can make a call. So now you can see this. I'm going to call here multiple times. Now we can go and execute the code. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 is printed. 10 anyway, it is not considered in our example. So what will be the output if I call the next time? See, 8 is done. It is actually storing the 0 to 8. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. I got all the results. But when it reaches to the threshold value, I mean more than 10, I mean 10 or like any other value, you will get you will get an exception called the stop iteration. You can see. Stop iteration exception comes only when you are using the generators. Okay, it means there is no next available item in the generator, so you'll get the stop iteration. That time you have to handle whole thing into the exceptions. So generators always written better to write inside the, I mean next function is always better to write into the try block. So you can write into the try block and except and stop iteration will come. We can write like this, right? So this is where like next is going to be. So when someone is asking you about generators can be created in 2 ways. One is a tuple comprehension, another one is the yield keyword. And the first one we are talking here, the tuple comprehension. Later we can talk yield also. Again here, if you want to retrieve the particular item, okay, each and every time, you have to use the concept called next. So you have to retrieve the each time every item, then the item will be shown in the output. Okay, so this is called lazy iterations. So what is the use of this? Why Python bought generators? There is the 2 advantages. First advantage is the memory management, and second advantage is the performance. Is it true? Okay.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Go ahead.
Sir, if diff get name, so def get name, so it was not written anything. Is it work if you are using the next here by calling get name?
This function I will also use. Yeah, I will. So far I am not come to that point. I will use this.
Okay.
Yeah. To answer your question shortly, yes, it works. Okay, we can use the next function also here. It works. Okay, fine. So I'm going to show you some presentation. Okay, it won't take even 1 minute. Okay, because it is a 2-3 slides. Okay. Let it open. So meanwhile, okay, so we'll proceed on this function. Okay, so okay, this we have using the print get name, and there is a Python. If I go and execute this code, what is coming up? If I go and of course there is an exception is coming here. So line number 11 I'm going to put into the comment section. Okay, now I'm going to execute this code, and you see that generator is coming. So I don't want generator to be printed on my output. I want to use something called next. Can I use the next here? Next off. So what should I use? Same thing. Get off name. You use the whole thing. You just print and put into the print statement. Otherwise, how we can see the output? I'm going to execute this code. Python is coming. It's because of the reason why none is coming, because we don't need here print. Print is already there inside it. Am I correct? Print is already there inside it. So you don't need to print 2 times. Okay. So now I'm going to execute this code again. You'll get the same output only because you are passing again
Because you
Python.
are not written anything, sir. That's why.
What?
You are not written anything in the function. So if you are not written, it will not store, I think, result.
It is printing, right? Why should I need, because already I'm printing on line number 16. I don't want to return.
Just to hash the line number 16, then I want to see the result.
That time it won't work because there is no print statement. How you can see the output? In your code, there is no print statement, but you can't, how you can see the output, obviously, right?
For example, if in a situation, if I want to store this get name into any value, any variable, so I can't get the any result, na, sir.
That's good question. That is good question. Now I'm going to return this data. Okay. So this return name, which I'm giving now. Okay. This is a good question, guys. So now after the yield, I'm giving the return name. Now I'm going to execute this code. So do you see any output, guys? Because it is, you're not printing again. There is no print statement. I'm going to give this one is in the print statement. So I'm executing this. So you are seeing none. Can anybody tell me what is happening with this yield keyword? Right now, when you give the yield at this line number 17, what is happening here? I'm printing this one. I'm asking that pass this Python here and written the name. Name anyway, it's Python. So I expected Python should be written, but I got the none value. So how to print the Python? Just think. It is a generator. Generator concept is like
name. Sir, yield of name will work.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. That time we can go for the yield of variable name. We don't need to use the return. So this is another concept which is anyway in the presentation I have it. Yield is also act as a return statement. Now if I'm going to work on it, okay, then I can see that Python is coming. Now question comes to you, what if I have the list of names? It also produce the list of names, don't worry. If I have the list of names, list of things, it works. Okay. But good, you brought the nice concept to the people audience. But anyway, it is in my part of next concept. So yield, we can use it in the functions. Okay, when you use the yield, this entire function is called as a generator. So main purpose of generators is very simple, guys. Let me tell you in a very friendly language. So list, we can store. Okay, when you want list data, you're going to ask entire data to bring it up. See, there is 1,000 student names you have stored into the list. You're asking the entire 1,000 names and into the memory. From the memory you are trying to use it, but in the reality you are not using the 1,000 students. You are using only 3 students information. It is a waste of time, right? Waste of memory. Example, I'm saying that generators is something like whenever you need next item, you ask, it will give. It will where we can store we can save the memory. So memory management is well handled with this generators. Is there any way we can prove that code? If you can bear with me, I have very nice examples. I can prove that also very nice way. But before that, let me do something called, okay. Can you go and write some coding with respect to the yield and countdown? Okay, we can also do the countdown. I'm going to create a timer here. So timer count.py. So I'm going to write code little fast. Okay, just you try to understand it because you already know the basics. Okay, so I'm going to write the function name is the countdown, and inside that I'll pass some numbers. So those numbers, what we'll do, right? If you want to print, okay, there is a simple string I'm going to give here, count. Okay, countdown starts, something like this. Okay, countdown starts, simple coding. Okay, and after the print statement, I will use the while loop, while number, and which is greater than 0 always. Okay, and after that we are going to use the yield, and this number is going to be produced every time. Okay, and this number, when I'm going to print, the countdown is always like, okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, like that. It's in the decreasing order. So when I want decreasing order, always I have to go for -1. Every time it will be reduced 1, 1, 1, something like this. Okay, this is a function which I have it. This countdown, okay, which I have it. This countdown, what I will do, right? I will pass some value. Can I pass 10 here? Okay, let me pass. Okay, why 10? It is a big value. I'll pass 5. Okay. So I want to make it, this is the count value. Okay, so I'm going to work now. If I go and print this, guys, just I'm going to use now print count value. What would be the output? Anybody guess? If I go and execute this code, my system is going.
I
What
think
will
yeah,
the
it was the last
output of
number.
this? Okay. See. My system from yesterday onwards, I don't know what would be the reason. It's very lazy. Okay. He's asking me give leave for this system, but I'm not giving leave to my system. Okay. But it is not printing anything. Do you know why? So anybody tell me it is printing now, printing now, printing now. Yeah. Generator object contents. Okay, of course it is a generators. You are not use the next function. How it can going to give these results. So what is my next thing which I'm going to do, right? Okay, it's a very simple. There is another way I'm going to print these generators. So sometime like I said, next function we have to use. Is there any way? Is there any way without next function can I call the data of the
I have
generator?
doubt that you told that before
List of generator.
2 seconds. You told that yield can be written. I mean, related to return function. So it's I think why it's not printing 5.
Okay, in the previous code, to answer your question, I don't take much time. So here I use the next function, right? Did I use the next function in this code? See, it will return the name. That name I'm get name of name Python, but I'm calling the next function to get this value. But in this code, I'm not use the next so far. See, if I use the next, what will happen, guys? Okay, as simple as if I use the next here, can you please tell me 5 is printing, right? Ranganathan, is it working?
Yes, that's what I want to say. Yes.
So I don't want to use the next every time. Calling next multiple times is really not the doing sometimes, right? For sometimes I don't want to use that way. So that time I will go for loop. Okay, for I in okay, then you can use the count value. Okay, so then you go and do something like this: print of x. The countdown is always like little slow, right? Generally we do little slow. I'm going to use the time, import time dot sleep. Yeah, not x, it is an I. So here you can use the time dot sleep. Can I use this way? Time dot sleep is 2 seconds or something like that we can use. Okay, I written outside.
So I have doubt that before a few seconds ago you told that generators are advantages is performance. But if we want to print values, we are using a for loop and next of what I think is generator is something we want to when we want to hide our data. Is it correct?
Yeah, obviously, the purpose is like that only. But if when you want data at a time, also we can see. Again, we are converting this iteration into the for loop. Okay, this is also possible, which I am saying that programmatically it is possible. The purpose is different. Whatever you said, that is correct. Generator's main purpose is to save the memory. Okay, memory management, and second most purpose is like the increase in the performance. These two are very important. But multiple ways we can play with these generators. That's as a programmer. Okay, that is always there. Okay. So what is the wrong here? Do you see anything wrong in line number 15? Yes.
Actually,
The sleep method function is wrong. Now you can see countdown started 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because of sleep, it is delaying it. Otherwise, nothing. Okay. Because it is producing the data. If I'm not using the sleep method, directly it will give 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. It will give directly this way. So basically it is up to you guys how you want output, how you want your solution to be achieved. Okay, there is no any here the set of rules we have to think in that way. Okay, it's up to you. You can decide it how we can do it. Okay, so this is one example. Let me go to the presentation. Is it opened? Yeah, it's a simple 2 lines only. Okay, You can see this, okay, little introduction. PEP 255, simple generators under the Python version 2.2. So basically these generators was introduced in the 2.2. And generators are iterators, but you can only iterate over them once. It's because they do not store all the values in the memory. They generate the values on the fly. So, and also we call it as a lazy iterators. The generators functions allow you to declare the function that behaves like an iterator. That is, it can be used within the for loop. Coming to the point, do not return a value, they yield it basically. So you have to use the yield keyword. Its a primary job is to control the flow of generator function in the way that similar to the return statements. That's where we use the yield. So syntax is like this. Coming to the next one, next is the function to allow the access to the next element of the sequence. Whenever the element which is not found, the next available element will get the stop iteration exception. This is nothing but an error. Error occurs when next function calls yield function if there is no iterable object. Okay, what is the main usage of it? Memory utilization and performance improvement. These are the two important things. Now, a question to you, if you think in broader way, can I use the generators in the class?
I don't think so.
Can I use the generators in the classes?
Yeah, you can. There's no hard and fast rule that you can't, but it's not, doesn't make sense to use, because then you are already creating an instance. Then you don't need a generator for it. You need a iterator, right?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so just cross check that. That answer is somehow is what I can say, that answerable or whatever you can think. But someone go and check in Python documentation, not in the other websites. Always go to the Python official documentation. Look at that generators classes. There are decorators in class. Class decorators are there. Function decorators are there. Okay. So what about generators? Just think about that. Think. Okay. Can you prove? Okay. This is. Do you have time? Can I take another 15 minutes to prove that list comprehension is taking so much memory and okay, or like more time? At least one example I will take and prove that list will take more time and generators will take less time. Can I prove that?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, let me go on now. Very quickly. I will finish off one programming. This is very easiest way to do it. Okay. What we can take? Okay. So, any questions on the previous code? Anybody?
Yes, sir, I have one question.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, is everything is possible due to with the yield keyword? So my question is, if you are using the yield keyword in for loop, so how it will behave, sir? For example, for x in range of 5, so yield of x, so how it was behave? It will be yield of x.
First of all,
Print. Oh,
look at that statement.
Okay, sir.
Yield is not allowed to write outside of the functions.
Okay.
As simple as, no, there is no another second thought. So yield is not allowed to write outside of the functions. Okay, not even class. It's outside of the function itself. So it won't allow you to write even in the class. Of a class inside the function, that is a different story. I'm just simply saying that. Okay, but that is good. You thinking out of the box, asking the question, and it is clearing the doubt. Okay. Any other doubts, Gopal Krishna? So that's where we can solve the problems.
Okay, sir. This question got in my mind. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. One more thing.
Sir, I know about that.
Go ahead.
This yield function is like when we use in we want to use in inside a function. In our other language, if we exit of a function, we want to use like exit of. With the yield function, we return our last value, and plus with the exit of function is like that.
Exit of functions, because you were talking about how to exit from the flow of the programming.
It's written like something. It's related to something. That's why I asked.
I did not get your question exactly. Can I ask again?
Sir, in other language, if we want to exit from a loop or something, we use a break and exit. I mean, if in this line we use yield of and value. This that value, it returns that value and it exits of that flow. Is correct. That's why I asked. It's last a little advantageous like something like exit of.
So you want to exit from the particular line of the code. That's what you are saying that you are referring to.
No, sir. It's like some features like exit of some features of is lot exit of is default
See, we
in.
have break statement in Python to exit, okay, from that little flow of control. Or like we have system.exist, there is a import sys and system.exist is there. Or like we have the os.exist is also there from the operating system itself. os.exit is there, system.exist is there, or else just to stop the flow of control within this some few lines of code, we can also go for the break statement. These are the things we have it as for my knowledge. So are you referring to something else? I don't know.
Okay, sir. I'm confusing. I think.
Yeah. You can put your question
Okay.
in our group. Okay. Mostly I can answer you, or I can directly contact you.
And I have last question, sir. For example, if you use the yield keyword, so we know it will replace the return. So we know then we no need to write the return.
And return is not required. That's what statement I said. When you are going for the generators, okay, it won't treat as a function. First of all, generators are different. Functions are different. Functions can have the return statement. Functions can have the return statement. What about
If
generators?
it is a return, if it is end with the return, it is a function. If it is end with the yield, it is a generator.
No,
Right?
even if you use the return statement here, this will be treated as a generator only. But the main value, which is yield at year line number 8 only, the purpose will be changed. Return won't do anything when we use the generator. Return purpose is nothing here because you are using the yield. See, it's too simple. This is the function. I can use the yield. I can also use the return statement. When I use the return statement, it won't do any action because actually we want to yield it. Okay. See, normally when you write this code in the projects, the people say that deleted this, even though it is allowing it deleted because it is one of the uh, standards which we follow when you are writing the code in the projects. When it goes to the code review, they say that okay, yield and again you are using here something like return. Don't use it. Yield only will be there. Okay, syntax wise it allow you to do it, but actually that doesn't make sense to do it basically because you are treating this entire whole function as a generator. Did I answer your question or still your question is?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Solved.
Yeah. So moving to the next, okay, only one performance will take, then we'll complete. So, okay, let's go now the performance of generators. It's a very simple code. I'll quickly finish it off this. Okay, don't take much time. Okay, so let's go now. Okay, let's go now. Okay, I will take something like I'm just thinking about an example. Which example we can take? Okay, so let me take one example to generate the persons or username, something like this. So let me take, this is one of my 4 favorite example. Most of the times I will take this example when I'm explaining to the people. So you can take here country. So this is Asia. Let me use a small letters. Okay, Asia. The next one is the Europe. Okay, what are these continents? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Respond guys, please. Okay, next one is, last one is the Africa. Okay, so let me go and create. Next one is the countries. So for each region, I'm going to take one country. Okay, the first one is the Singapore. Next one is the Norway. Some countries, guys, randomly I'm picking up. Next one is North America is Canada. Africa is something like South Africa, or any country which you want. Okay, these are the regions and countries we have it. So what I want to do, right, I will take two functions. One function is generating the action is same only, but one is I will do with the list, one is I will do with the generator. Okay, so def, so people list, I'm generating the people information here, people list. So this is the function, right? The function which I can do, right, I want number. Okay, I'll pass the number here. We'll understand little later what I'm doing it. So results is equal to, this is a list way I'm doing it. This approach is a list for I in range of, so I'm just going to do it very quickly, and I'll pass this number here, and inside this, what I will do, right, I'm going to generate it. Okay, I want to generate the each person data. So this is a dictionary. ID is always like what is the I, and the next one is the, okay, you have to understand what I am doing it here. The region here, okay, I don't know how many of you remember, there is something called random, it's a random package, it's a library. From the random package, I am going to generate, randomly I will make a choice on the regions. Okay, so random dot choice. Okay, in the choice, I will take a region. So any one of the region, randomly it will select this name I have to give, guys. These regions, which I'm going to give it here. Am I correct? This is a person. Now I'm going to add country. So randomly person information will be created this way. Okay, country, and this is again random dot choice, and now it's again countries. Okay, just don't copy this. My system is not supporting, guys, to write faster code. It is scolding me. This today is Saturday, but you are not given rest to me. This is really not good. So the person is there. Okay, now the finally this, I'm going to add this result. Okay, so results is like a what? It's a list. I can append this each dictionary data. Is it possible? Can I add a dictionary as an item in the list? Right? Is it possible or not? Right? It is possible. Okay. So finally, this function should return the some data. Okay. If you want to return, you can return, or if you want to print. So I want to return it. So say that. Okay. I will need to call this function first. I will show you what would be the result. So what if I'm going? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So now what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to print. So I'm going to call this people list. So people list, I will pass the 5 people I want from randomly. There is no any print statement here. So I have to use the print statement here to see the, it will generate the random 5 people from these regions. This is the code which I'm doing it. So let's see this. Yeah. There is a person ID 0, region, Africa, country, and ID 1 is the region, country name. So different people are generated from the 5 people, 5 people. IDs information is generated. If I want 105, it will generate, right? Randomly, it will generate 105 people. Information will be generated. If you want to add more countries also, we can do it. This is I am doing with the list. Okay. This is I am doing with the list. Hey, I don't want with the list. Can you please do with the generator? Yes, same logic I will do with the generator. So instead of this, let me copy this entire code, because why we need to do it. Just copy this code, and instead of list, we can say it is a generator. Understand the code meanwhile what I did. So I don't want list here, right? This is a list based one. So this line number 23, which is useless in this case, then what I can use? Can I remove this one? So how to yield it now? We have to use the yield function. So instead of the append also no more here. So we can use the same code here. Is spelling is wrong. Yield and the person. Am I correct? Can anybody debate with me? Is it correct or wrong? Can you please debate? So if you want to return, you can use none. Okay, see, sometime back you asked me about written, right? Written none. So what is the problem? You no need to use the written none also. Not required actually, but for your as part of learning, I am just writing it. So I want to call this people generator now. Okay, so people generator and pass now five generators I want. But this time, if I go and use the print statement, print of, do you see the output? No, right? If I go and execute this, you will see object location only. So I want output means use the next function and you use it here. Now if I'm going to execute this code, you will see that first person is coming. If we call 5 times, 5% information will be produced because you are giving the 5, right? Am I correct or not? Okay, so okay, Raja, you're done with the list, you're done with the generator. What you are going to tell us?
Sir,
Okay.
Can you store this in any variable so that we can see it is written? It will store the return or this person.
So okay, yeah.
Underscore generator.
Definitely. So you want people generators? Okay, use the 6 or 5. It's up to you. You want to store? This is a store value. Okay, I'm just writing like that. Okay, I want to print this store value. Okay, let me go on. This is what you want, right?
Yes, sir.
What is it? It will print the address only, right? What else I can print? Don't think about return. It is ignored. Okay. I don't know. You are more focused on, but anyway, you're clarifying the doubt. I like the way. Okay.
So yeah, I want to see behavior, how it is behaving.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, behavior is that one. Okay. So basically, written is nothing because we are returning none. Even if we written single quotes hello also, it won't do anything on that part because it is yielding at line number 29 itself. Written is doesn't make sense after you write. Actually, what I can suggest you, don't write it. Okay, in the projects. Now these are the two generators we have it. So what is the next step, guys? We are almost all done. So next important step is very clear, right? I want to see the performance of these two. Performance, how we can measure it? By using the time. Okay, not only this code, if anybody asks you to prove the performance, we need a time. So I'll go to the time and I am going to use this time in the below. And what I'm going to do, it's very simple, guys. I'm going to do something like so in this case, okay, this is the next function, right? Okay, so let me bring this function also with the bottom. Okay, so these two functions I'm going to use. One is the list one, another one is the generator. I want to check the time for here, the time print of. Can I use like this? Print of the time taken
No,
here.
sir. I think you actually, I think you have to show which is taking more time and less time, right? Your aim is to show.
Yeah, we have to use the for loops. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So my answer is you have to put starting time and ending time in the two functions. So then we can able to see which is taking a less time.
That is also one way. Instead of going and change, so we don't see, never going to write those statements inside the functions. That means you are correcting the code. Okay, write only outside of the function only. Why you are going inside the function? So functions don't touch anytime. Functions calls we can make it up. Okay, for example, right now I have the time. Okay, so let me tell you what I am going to do it. So then you will understand very clearly. Now time taken for list, time taken for basically it is not time taken for list, it is a time start. Okay, this is the where, and we have something called can anybody tell me how we can write this? Can anybody tell me how we? So basically, okay, let me do it another way. I'm getting a lot of thoughts here. So I will write T1 is equal to and we can use the time dot. In the olden days, we use the different functions. Latest is performance counter. So we can, this function we can use, okay. This is one way. And the next one is the T2. T2 is equal to time dot performance counter. So this is another function which I can use. And you can go and take the time differences here. Time taken for list. So can I use this way? Time taken for list is, okay, and we can say that T2 minus T1. Is it works with my code? Okay, same like T1 minus, this is for the iterator. Okay, now we can say this is a T3, and I will use this one at the bot again after this generator. This is the T4, and what I will do, right, I'm going to make it as a time taken for the generator. Am I correct? Generator, okay, and this time is the T3 minus T4. Is it okay, Gopal? So any other, so is there any questions here?
Yes, sir. I have one question.
Go ahead, please.
For example, okay, list generator. You are using a list generator. It will iterate the all objects. 5 objects it will iterating. So it will take a lot of time. But here you are just using only one next function, so it will take a less time.
I know that. That is a really great question you are bringing up. Okay, so but yeah, so I'm going to print. I'll come to that point. I will answer your question. Okay, I will answer. So now we can see this is a time taken for the list and generator. So which is the less time? Generator obviously is the generator. How the way Gopal said right now. Can I take the for loop and do it? Can I take the for loop and do it? Then we'll prove it. That's why we can prove it, right? Okay. So let me take, we'll keep it this T2, T1 outside. So before that, okay, so what we can take this, instead of this printing the whole drama here. So what I'm going to do, right, I will take the for loop. Can anybody have doubts on this? Okay. So the whole thing, this, and also here I'm not giving the 105. Okay, let me first print this. Both 105 I'm going to give. Of course, it will be less only. So what I'm going to do, right, guys, instead of printing this one, printing anyway, whatever he said is correct. So this time I will use for I in. Okay, I deleted that. Okay, this print statement only I will delete it. Okay. For each person, okay. So that is where like we can iterate it in people's list of 105. Okay. So is it works this way? Is it works this way?
Yes, sir. This is the correct way, I think.
Yeah, this is the correct way. Because that's where we can 100% prove that, okay, this is because generators are much faster than the this, okay. So now we'll go to this for, and this is done. Now, what is the next thing is, because I'm keeping all these two things in within the time frame only. The same thing I will do it for the generators as well, okay. So this time I will take this entire 105 people, I think, yeah. For each person, this is iterate, this is the generator. You can say that person in, and you can say this, and the print of each person. Any differences here? Okay, so I think code we are done. Maybe a lot of content will come. Just ignore it. Still, we are able to see it, right? It is in the minus. You can also try and come back to me if you have any questions. It is storing all the data. Now it has got generated everything, right? Can you see on my screen, guys? 100.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe my system is a little slow. That's why I'm not able to show you. Okay, see all the information which is got showing up here. Okay.
Sir, just print nothing, sir. Then no problem. It will not show all the data, maybe.
Yeah, that is also we can do it. This one we can put it as a pass, both the cases, because any iteration can be here pass, and here also we'll put the pass. Okay, something like this. Okay, so I'm going to execute this code again. This is also I can do it.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually,
Shivan.
what I don't understand, in T1, T2, T3, T4, you have used the same code. So how it is calculating the performance of our code?
It's a performance counter means here what is the time? Current time here. What is the time? Here what is the current time? See, before starting this for loop iteration, what is the time? And what is the time once it is completed, again current time at this moment. Then this time minus this time, maybe this is started normal language. I will tell you 1 p.m. it started, example, okay, 1 p.m. 01 minutes 01 seconds, maybe this is ended at 1 p.m. 01 seconds, maybe sorry 01 minute 56 seconds it may ended. So it took almost all 55 seconds to execute this.
How it is understand which function we have to take now and which
No.
we have to
See,
take?
what is the time at line number 34 when the Python code, how it executes? Line by line, it will execute. So when line number 34, what is the time? Then it will perform this line number 35, 36. Then it will come to the 37. Then what is the time? Obviously, this time is always greater than, right? Because there is some code which is there in between. It has to execute. And what is the time here?
T1, T2 already hold the information of time differences, and T3, T4 also already hold the information time differences. So here we are printing 45 and 50, 45 and 46.
See,
Can we use time it function?
Can you use
Time it function to calculate the execution time of a particular function?
function?
Yeah,
Like
execution of two function. So that we can easily understand which function takes the execution type more. And
that is also can be used. So what I mean to say that we should not touch most of the times functions inside our functions directly. So we have to use always like this. Okay, what is the function call? How the data which is written in. See, when you use inside something, it may go little differences will come. Okay, it's always like use the time differences when you use the function calls. It is always to be accepted at the function calls. You can use different functions are there. I think in this is the latest function I am using it, performance counter. In olden code, there is some other function was using it. I forgot the name. That is deprecated from the latest versions. This is the from 3.7 or 8 performance counter came. Cross check again. I'm not remember exactly, but it is the latest function only. Python community is suggesting us to use the performance counter only. Okay, this is command. Click on this. No information here. You can also use the process time. Which version it came? Yeah, 3.8. It might be coming up. Can you please cross check again? The performance counter came recently. Still, your doubt is not. Your concept is clear, right? Shivananda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You also clear with the function concept also, right?
Yeah.
I mean, functions in the sense, I mean to say that these functions which I spoken in this example.
Yeah, that performance underscore counter.
Performance underscore counter is like time calculations at the time the code go for execution, in simple words.
Yeah.
Whenever Python interpreter takes that line of the code for execution, what is the time? Another line number 37, what is the time? And time differences between both the values. That is called the time taken. So this is what the best I can say answer. Yeah, anybody can take a short take. Okay. You understand, right, Shivananda? Again, I'm asking because you are investing time to understand much better. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. But where I got stuck that you have used the same function. That's why I asked.
Okay. Same function means the time calculation at the time of execution of the line. Yeah. So I hope today we learn generators. It might be useful to you. Okay. So, sorry?
Yeah, it's true because I did not know this before.
So last one more thing is there, but okay. So that's something called dictionary comprehensions. Can I use that? Dictionary comprehensions. I want to buy new laptop, guys. It's really, this is irritating me. Actually, I'm waiting for the M2 chip. M1 chip is there, right? By September, if Apple come up with a new laptop, so I want to buy it. So I'm literally waiting for September. Yeah.
But have they announced it?
Not yet. I think they will come, right? Obviously, they are in that business. They will come up with the new version. Last year they announced the M1. I'm waiting for the new M1 we can use for the machine learning and all. But recently I came to know that Docker, it little issues with the Docker when you want to use in the Apple M1 chip. So Docker is still not supporting. There are some issues people are facing in the communities they are telling me. Let's see. Okay, so what is a dictionary comprehension? So it's very simple again. So can you please tell me syntax? So far we have gone to this much way. Can anybody take a call here? Say what is the dictionary comprehension? Why should I tell? No, I
First time
don't
I'm
tell
listening
it.
dictionary comprehension.
Huh?
First time I'm listening, sir, dictionary comprehension.
Thank you. Okay, okay. I'm making something here. Okay, for I in range of, okay, and you can take 10 values. Okay, okay, for I in the range of 10. And what I'm gonna do, right? Okay, so I will take something like I. Okay, so now I want to print this. I'm keeping into the dictionary. Let's see this. What's going to happen? Okay, actually, this is not dictionary. This is a set. Okay, actually speaking. Now I want to take it as NVM here. Any value you can take. Print of NVM. So can you please let me know what would be the output of this? Right.
It will be a
Hey Raja, I can right now I came to know this is something called set. Okay, do you mean to say that set comprehension is also there?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You can't deny it. This is called set comprehension, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you please make it as a dictionary comprehension, Raja? Okay, I will do it for you. So in this case, dictionary what they want colon and the what is the key value? You can make it as a square or like you want to do anything, you just write it. Now I'm going to print this. Hey Raja, can I see now dictionary comprehension as well? Dictionary we can produce it. See how Python it is so simple to use it. You know it already. I'm just trying to bring these comprehensions in easiest way. So the colon is very important. Otherwise, so set will generate it. Okay. So comprehensions are nothing but generating the new way of list and set tuple, or like we can say in other words generator. This is all like generating the new objects. Comprehensions are nothing but generating the new objects in the different way. These codes are nothing but shorthand codes, which is very useful for the developers. Okay, if you don't want to write so many for loops and many things, write single line of the code. If you use the lambda, map, reduce, filter, and list comprehension combinations, the other people write 7 lines of code. You can finish it in the single line of code. That is the difference between the Python expert and normal Python developer. Okay, Python experts or Python SMEs, they use more onto the list comprehensions, and also they use more, I mean, not list comprehension they use, and also they use something like map, reduce, filter functions and lambda. This is the gameplay. If you want to write, if you want to strong on Python programming language, these 4 concepts are very important. Okay. Okay, is it done, Raja? Yes, for time being it is done, but a lot of things we can do it. Okay, you can also like yeah, you can do some it's not only about here, you can also create here some expressions. Can I create expression here? I star 3. Now I'm going to execute this code. It works. You can generate whatever the equations you want. I want to generate a dictionary from the given numbers. This is the way you can generate it. Do you
Right.
have any debate question?
No, I need some time to understand this first.
This is very simple, right? Can I ask
This
only?
Butler's whole comprehension. This.
So I'm going to ask condition here. Of course, condition could be accepted here. So that's where you are seeing the output conditions also. Accepted, no denying fact. Can I write multiple conditions? Go and write. Can I write else statement? This is what I forgot some time back. You can also write else statement within the dictionary comprehensions. Can I write multiple for loops? Yes, we can write multiple for loops. As it is same code only, okay? This code is another way we can call it as a folded. This is called folded. Okay, I don't know, we use the term called folded. This is called folded code. Unfolded code means you can write multiple for loops and if conditions inside that, that's called unfolded code. Okay, so that's something which is there. Fine. So any questions do you have?
Sir, decorators.
You are there. I thought you were left.
Sir, I have one call between 2 seconds.
No problem. Okay. Yeah, decorators will be later because again, if I start, it will take another 2 hours. Okay. So we can freshly start with the decorators. Okay. The people who are thinking about, I am talking already known concepts. I know that these concepts, whatever I spoken today, 90% of the people in our group, they don't know. 90% of the people. Okay, you think me wrong also, it's fine. Because they know only list comprehension. Okay, I know list comprehension. But thing is that how to use, how to generators are there, what is the purpose of it? If you know it one time, it's enough. Okay. So we know the depth concepts. Okay, at least somehow. Okay.
Yeah, including me. I didn't know either.
Yeah, I know that people are ignoring my content sessions. Let it be.
Included me. I also didn't know many things out of this. So
yeah. Because why I'm taking these sessions, because these codes are very important when you are going for the neural networks. Shorthand code we are going to write for the neural networks engineering. That time it will be very useful. That see, I don't know to tell this. This is going on live. Generally, one of the project recently is one of the repeated organization project which I saw. Everywhere, right? Comprehensions. Of course, dictionary comprehension widely they are using in their project. It's a product-based company. Dictionary comprehension widely they are using it. And also they have seen that map reduce filters are completely they are using in their project code. Okay. So that's something. Even when you're building a models also, it's needed, guys. It's needed. Okay. It's shorthand codes are very important to write coding, improving our skills. Okay. Better we learn something today. Okay. So in next session, because there are few more sessions on Python which is going to come through. Maybe tomorrow night I'm going to talk about advanced Python concepts, the concepts which are never spoken. Okay. But I'm going to take the special class tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So we are going to talk about very advanced concepts in the Python, for example, context processors. Okay. Like that. So we'll try to gain more knowledge on this from the basics to advanced. We are going to use it into the neural networks, data science projects whenever it is required. That time you don't need to look back and these concepts. Okay, that is all about my investment here. Why I'm investing for the neural networks. Why I'm telling these concepts for the projects which we are going to build it in future. From the from the June onwards we are building the projects. That time we use all this code. Okay, we have one GitHub account for all the Boondocks people. Everybody is going to build one project in that. Okay, every day we'll push the code. Every day in the sense people are working in some other companies, it's okay. If not, no issues. So main goal is to like build one big project end of this year as a team.
Correct.
Everybody can push the code if you're done with your task. Once your task is completed, you say the task is complete. So we'll see. I'm investing efforts. Definitely, this is going to be a great community by end of this year. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. Definitely, Rudra. So let's invest time, so we can see how we can learn. Okay. Fine, guys. Thank you so much. I will come up with another session tonight at 9:30. We are going to discuss about the data science dialogue. That is going to be very interesting. What are the best practices we can use it in the machine learning and AI and the NLP and other areas? So I'm going to talk. That's going to be a talk, but very important. The people who are looking for that. Okay. It's very important for the practices. Writing the code, anybody can do it, guys. Okay. What is the way you can prove yourself? Your code is having the quality. That's something which is we am going to talk tonight. So make sense, because it is make you like different from others. Okay. Code quality is more important than it is more important actually, code quality. Okay. Not only code quality, what are the other best practices we can follow from the end-to-end machine learning, so which I'm going to talk tonight. So please stay tuned, and we are going to learn a lot of things. Okay.
Sir,
And that's,
automation is most important for every for
huh?
development or competitive programming. Automation.
Yeah, optimization also. I'll, because see, once we completed this one, I will come up with those sessions. There is something called OpenCV. I need to take at least for 2 hours session for that, because there are so many functions. OpenCV is very important when you go for the CNN projects, right? When you're going for the CNN projects, what is CNN?
Convolutional neural network for image
Yeah,
processing.
convolutional neural networks, when you go for it, we need to understand OpenCV very well, right? Okay, because we deal with the images. That's where OpenCV comes. So we have a lot of other subject optimizations, OpenCV, many things comes, guys. Okay, these efforts is not going to be wasted. Who are following me, who are really attending time, making sense, but we'll try to make it of somehow the best way by end of this year. It's not an easy job. Data science and AI means it's a big skill set, right? Big things are there.